This episode of the Wayang Crew podcast is brought to you by Times Cineplex. Hey guys, it's Kev.
Yo, this is Del.
What's up? This is Naz.
And we are the Wayang Crew.
Oh yeah.
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to yet another episode of the Wayang Crew podcast. It's me, Kevin, once again speaking to you on this mic about all things movies, especially movies that are playing here in Brunei Darussalam. On today's episode, we'll be talking to you about Aquaman and what we think of this DCEU movie directed by James Wan. But first, it's my co-host, it's Del.
Hello.
What's up?
Nothing is up. I don't have enough sleep, so feels pretty down at the moment.
I've only had 3 hours of sleep today.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's even worse.
But you're a legend, Kev.
No.
Why didn't you sleep?
Because I had to get up at 5 a.m. this morning.
Oh, you had to, right? You
Yeah,
had to work.
I had work, and we were out till about 1:30 last night.
Yeah.
Really?
About 1, yeah.
Yeah.
1, not 1:30.
By the time I got home is 1:30.
Yeah, he lives all the way in Subok.
So do you, Del.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, how was your comedy shows over the last weekend?
I don't know. Was I funny? I am not sure.
Yeah,
I
you were.
couldn't-
I watched Del
I
on stage.
enjoyed the mustache joke.
I think Del had the right stuff.
And as the cloud of
That's such a good one,
self-doubt
Kai.
lowers.
Such a good one.
Yeah, I think you did really well over the weekend with the
Sure.
English set. I hosted, so
Yeah, the English set. My Malay wasn't that great.
because you didn't do one.
His English set was a hit lah.
Hitler. All right. Up next is another co-host of the podcast. It's Kai.
Hey Kev, what's up?
What's up?
Nothing, just enjoying retirement. What about you?
Retirement from what?
From life in general. I'm at the lowest point in my life. I just thought I'd put it out there.
Unwarranted.
Unwarranted.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a downer, which I think is needed for the movie we're gonna talk about.
Whoa, wait. Let's not give it away just yet. Up next, it's the final co-host for this episode of the podcast. It's Naz.
Hello.
Or, as we now know her, Nazu.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that's from my set.
Yeah, we're all going to call you Nazu now.
Oh, no.
Sounds like that bird from Lion King.
That's Zazu.
The Zazu.
Yeah.
Zazu. Are you calling me a bird?
Do you want to be a bird?
I don't want to be a bird.
Okay.
They have a pretty
I
terrible
made many
life.
impressions, but not bird sounds.
How do you think you did, or how was the weekend over the Brouhaha comedy shows
I
that we had?
thought my English set was better than my Malay set.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed doing the English set. It was like improv for me.
Whoa.
Must say.
Wait.
No,
Yeah,
because
up
I
another notch.
forgot my my script, so I was like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna
I'm just going to make stuff up now.
make a stop up now.
See, I couldn't do that if I was performing a set.
Oh no, I don't know, because all the stuff actually happened. So, well, some of them.
Right, okay. Let's get
All
to
of them.
all of them.
All of them.
Oh.
It's all
This
based
is,
on fact.
Yeah, real
Yeah.
life stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's get to the news this week on the podcast. Did you guys check out the trailer for Godzilla King of the Monsters? We got a second trailer this week.
Yeah.
Looks even better.
I don't know if I saw the trailer for Godzilla King of the Monsters as much as I saw the trailer for the greatest movie of our time.
We have a lot of views of all the different monsters, I
Yeah.
think. I don't think that's all of them. I think they only showed us like...
I'm guessing there's maybe one, because look, in the lore of Godzilla, King Ghidorah is the definitive antithesis to Godzilla. But they showed King Ghidorah so easily in this one. Like, you know, he's there in the trailer, they made a poster out of it. I'm hoping that there is one monster that they just kind of pull out of the left field and go, by the
From
way.
Jurassic World.
Yeah.
What is that
The
called?
Indoraptor.
Wow.
Indoraptor.
Indoraptor.
Yeah, so I hope, but I'm okay if there isn't another one. Like, this movie is shaping up to be amazing.
Okay, and we also see shots of humans fighting alongside Godzilla. We see...
Why would they do that?
We see-
I don't understand. Why?
Yeah,
Del-
because it's like a monster in real life. Would you fight alongside a giant monster?
But
Like-
why would you fight alongside a giant monster which is fighting another giant monster?
Because, like, he's Godzilla. Like, if Godzilla was
yeah.
real right now, I'd be like, bro, what do you need?
And also...
Sure, yeah. Whatever you can give him is nothing compared to what he can do himself.
Yeah,
And-
but, like,
but-
moral support.
And also,
Moral support, yeah.
because in the last movie, Ken Watanabe said, let them fight.
Yeah.
And in this movie, he goes, we are his pets.
Yeah. Right? Like, okay, like when LeBron James plays on the court.
Such a poor line.
LeBron James is a great basketball player, but people still support him.
Of course.
Yeah.
But because they can make a difference.
Yeah. So imagine being Godzilla and like
What
nobody
can you
liked
do?
you for millions of years. And you come out of the water and people are cheering you on. That's a big motivator.
Yeah, you cheer is fine. You don't fight alongside him for against another monster.
The only thing we missed out in this trailer is like a cheer squad for Godzilla. Like, give me a G. G. Give me an O. I would love to see that. We also got a trailer this week for a couple of Netflix movies, one of which is of particular interest, and it's called Triple Frontier.
That looks good.
That looks good. It's got an all-star cast. Ben Affleck's in there. Charlie Hunnam's in there.
Garrett Hedlund,
Pedro Pascal,
Oscar Isaac.
Oh wow.
And it's a story of a couple of former Navy SEALs who plan a heist together. And it's, I think, set in South America. And they're planning to rob this drug lord who keeps $75 million in cold hard cash in like his fortress or something.
Why would he?
And
keep
outside
any
the
cash?
jurisdiction of the Navy SEALs.
Yeah,
So
because
it's like a
it's said very heavily in the trailer. Like, remember, boys, we're not wearing a flag on our
right.
on our shoulders.
Ah.
Looks good. Looks good.
It actually looks good.
I just don't understand why it's on Netflix.
Because it's made by Netflix.
Yeah, but then I've always seen Netflix as the something that is just TV, and then you have the cinema. Cinema is cinematic.
Which is
Blockbusters.
a dedicated theater experience.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Netflix is your
Netflix
couch.
is like
Yeah.
But
it doesn't have
Netflix
that
is-
effect.
Netflix is that place now, right? When A-listers have stuff they want to do, but no studio wants to do it. Netflix like, I'll do it.
Yeah,
Like I'm sure if this script was a studio quality script,
that's where I'm getting at. It's not good enough for the cinema, so
Yeah.
it's gone to Netflix.
Interesting.
because to be fair, not all the Netflix original movies are good.
Yeah, it's true.
Like there's quite a bit of
Their
bad
hit
ones
rate
there.
is actually quite low.
Yeah, in the movies, in the TV, yeah, they're doing quite well in the series department. But I guess it's just karma for canceling Daredevil.
Whoa.
Oh.
That had to come up in this episode once again. We also got a trailer for another Netflix movie that is coming out, and it's called Bird Box, starring Sandra Bullock.
I don't know what to make of it.
Yeah.
I
want to watch
This
that.
is like the eye version of
Quiet
A
Place.
Quiet
The
Place.
optical version of
Yeah,
the optical version of Quiet Place.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of it.
I
A
wanna
blind
watch it.
place.
A blind.
So what? They can't see what?
They cannot
can't-
see, otherwise they'll get hypnotized or
Yeah.
something like that.
They'll
If
get
they open their
suicidal.
eyes, then they're susceptible to these attacks by these creatures or beings that can project their your biggest fears, like right in front of you. So
Interesting.
you become paralyzed with
Bogart.
fear, kind of.
Oh,
Like a what?
From Harry
from
Potter.
Harry Potter.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I wouldn't know that.
So it's kind of like the Quiet Place where they can't make any sound. In this case, they can't really
Look.
use their eyes because, from the trailer we see, they resort to just blindfolding themselves,
Right.
trying to navigate, which I think does not make any sense.
This is like a veiled. It's like a subliminal message from Netflix about Daredevil. Like they can't see, they can't see Daredevil. You guys can't watch it. It's all meta.
There it is again.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what to make of it. Like, here's one thing I noticed in the Triple Frontier trailer as well. Like, the cinematography looks good, everything looks good, but there's a certain sense of like, okay, so why should I watch this movie?
You're right.
It feels like it's little pieces put together. Like, oh, here's a really cool shot of a waterfall. Here's, but like, why am I watching this?
Here's a question I have though. We live in an age where you have a voice operated and voice direction GPS thing on your phone. Why don't you just do that? Like, why would you go through the trouble of doing what they did that we saw in the trailer, trying to navigate some whitewater rapids to get somewhere safe? You can just walk around with your Waze and go like, in 400 meters, turn left.
Right, yeah. And here's the other thing. Have they tried sunglasses?
I don't know.
Yeah, so it's like,
Maybe they did. But have they tried 3D glasses?
Oh, maybe these monsters are like, oh, I can't do stereoscopic.
Glasses.
Oh no. Anyway, we're gonna get to the news now. We've just done talking about trailers. We have talked about the possibility of a Doctor Strange movie that will serve as a sequel to the first origin story of the character. Director Scott Derrickson has announced that he will return for this sequel.
Never
Oh.
doubted it.
Yeah,
Yes.
makes sense.
So we are going to get
Yes.
a sequel to Doctor Strange. Of course, Benedict Cumberbatch is going to reprise his role. You can't really change him up now.
Yes.
He's only like 3 movies in. Well, 2.
2. Unless he doesn't
No.
come back.
What?
I don't know. I haven't seen the Avengers trailer. I wouldn't know.
Oh.
Unless
He will come back.
I guess so. He's not in the trailer.
I don't know. I wouldn't know.
Yes, for the purposes
But that's
of
the
our...
first trailer.
The first trailer? There's
It's a
only one
teaser.
trailer.
Yeah,
we only had a
teaser.
teaser.
Yeah.
No surprise here, we are going to get a sequel to Doctor Strange.
Yes.
Up next, we of course know about the takeover of Disney by... Oh, sorry, the takeover of 20th Century Fox by Disney. And the Dark Phoenix director says that the film is a new chapter in the X-Men franchise, which sets it up nicely to join the MCU. I don't know what this means. He didn't give any details. But apparently, he says, yeah, it's a new thing.
I don't think it will make sense for them to reboot X-Men so soon.
Like
anyway.
in its current form.
Yeah, to join the MCU. It's just absorb everything.
Like plug them in.
Yeah. And then Wolverine will have a reason to be Hugh
Alive
Jackman. Yeah.
The reason Wolverine will have a reason. Hugh Jackman will have a reason to be Wolverine.
Okay, it's too early in the morning.
I think
mean,
what Delman is... Yeah, Kevin got it right.
Yeah. The guy with the least sleep
Yeah.
got it
Right.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, Hugh Jackman might come back. I mean, that's what you're trying to say.
Wow.
Has to. He's
I
the
thi-
only Wolverine.
No, as in it's the same universe.
Yeah.
So there is a reason for Hugh Jackman to be Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. What am I talking about?
I'm going to throw a wrench in this. And I'm going to say Simon Kinberg is only saying this to push sales for the tickets.
That's true too.
That's also entirely possible.
Yeah. Come on, if I was making an X-Men movie just before my company gets swallowed by Disney, I would say whatever they want me to say. I'd be like, yeah, of course Captain America's in this. What do you think, I'm a joke?
And to prove it, here's his shield.
Yeah, I would go nuts. Because this is the problem. Disney as a corporation will not use this cast. They cannot. Because if they use this cast, they will have to pay them every time those movies, the previous ones, are redistributed in any form.
Yeah.
They're not going to use them. They're going to cast again.
They're going to swap them out.
Yep.
All this politics.
So
this
what's going to
politics.
happen is Jean Grey is going to do some cataclysmic event that rips a wormhole, and then they're going to be in an alternate universe. And then there's going to be another X-Men. Something like that. Confirm.
That makes sense.
Boo.
Okay.
I like this.
I just felt the room in the air die.
Yeah.
The air in the room died. Del,
Ruin
why am I becoming you?
Here's something that might make it die even more. The screenwriter for Venom has confirmed that a sequel is in fact happening.
Whoa.
All right, I'm done.
Yeah, I
Better be better.
This is China's fault.
Yeah.
It is China's
Thanks,
fault.
China.
I mean, what if it's better?
In Mandarin, like it has a much deeper meaning.
They
Because,
have a symbiote in China called Phantom.
Oh, what was it again, Del? Oh, yeah, which means poison.
Wow.
I would see another one of these movies. I mean, I didn't think it was that bad.
It's bad.
It wasn't that bad.
It was.
It's bad.
It's still a movie that I can throw on.
Venom. Venom was the best part of the movie.
That's true. All right. Clearly, Del and Kai are not agreeing because they're just staring at me.
No, but it was inevitable. They were gonna make a sequel. The moment this movie made 500 million, I was like, all right, let's get ready for the next one.
Because money.
Yeah,
Right.
Okay, the only bright spot in this is Woody Harrelson as Carnage.
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 Oh, sorry, I watched the French version where they called him Carnage.
Carnegie?
Garbage.
Right. James Wan, who is the director of Aquaman, a movie that we are reviewing on this episode of the Wayang Crew podcast, he has come out and said that this Aquaman movie is not necessarily part of the DCEU.
What rubbish.
What
Say
rubbish.
that.
They do reference Justice League.
Ah,
First Simon Kinberg and now
it's the same actor from the last two movies. Like, James, can you not?
Like,
what is the studio trying to do?
No, like, I don't understand why all these different directors are saying different things, you know? Like, you have David Sandberg, who's doing Shazam, and he's saying, yes, of course this is part of the DCEU, he says. It's actually a young teenager's love letter to the heroes before him. That's why there's so many references to Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman in Shazam. And now you have this one guy who's using an actor who was in the other two films saying something else.
Well, just to clarify, this is his actual quote. He said, "We've seen him in other films, but I really wanted to tell a standalone story." All right, that's what he said to Den of Geek, right, at the London premiere for Aquaman. People ask me why, and I'm like, listen, you guys have so many movies to do with Superman and Batman and all that already. Let's give this guy his time in the limelight. This is his opportunity. He's never had the chance before. Let's just let it be his film and get that right. Maybe then we can have fun mixing him up with other characters.
So it's your fault, Kevin.
Well, the headline here says that. James Wan says Aquaman not necessarily part of the DCEU.
So
Why?
I think what he's trying to say is what happens in this movie has no bearing
will not affect
on what happens in the DCEU because the DCEU doesn't exist.
It's and this headline is another clickbait.
It's and it baited us really well. I went on a spiel, James. I would like to apologize.
Yeah,
James,
I know, right?
James, please hear me out. I know you're mad, but I'm very sorry. You are a kuching boy, and I'm rooting for your success. With love, Kai.
So Kai may have pissed off James Wan.
Yeah, oh man, that's it. That's the
Here's
end of my
something else
career.
that is definitely bound to piss him off if they don't get this right. James Wan apparently is not signed on to direct a sequel for this Aquaman movie.
Well done once again, Warner Brothers. And James Wan, make sure you ask for double your salary.
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
This is like another Patty Jenkins situation where she effectively doubled her salary from Wonder Woman to do Wonder Woman 1984.
Yeah.
Why do they keep doing this?
I'll give you one answer. It's called Justice League.
Either that or it's another answer, and that's that they're rolling the dice on every one of these movies. Like, let's see how this does.
I think they got like an 11-year-old kid making the key decisions. they're like, Andrew, what do you think? I don't know. I'm not feeling Aquaman.
Like my parents said that Conjuring was like really good, so I think the director is really good. So he should do like an Aquaman movie.
Andrew, is that you?
Yeah. Maybe it is an 11-year-old making these decisions because Warner Brothers apparently has plans, and it has confirmed this, to do a Plastic Man movie.
What?
Okay. I get it. I get the judgment, guys. I get it. Like, I judged James again. I'm so sorry. Nothing but love, James. I get the skepticism, but he is an amazing character. He will work really well in a movie.
Because apparently he's one of those characters that are not really not as recognizable, as compared to Batman and Superman and Aquaman. But he has been making appearances in DC Comics since the 1940s.
He's
There's
hilarious. He's
There's
honestly
a
very quirky.
cartoon series back in the 80s.
Yeah. So I honestly think like he could be very funny.
Is he a male version of Elastigirl from The Incredibles?
Yeah.
He
was
like
the
Mr.
archetype for
Fantastic.
that.
For her character, right?
For her, for Mr. Fantastic, all the stretchy characters, he was the archetype.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's
so
first, huh?
so he's really funny because I remember one story where he kept bugging the Justice League to give him a job, and then Superman was like, "Why don't you fix the door? One of the doors was broken," and he just became the door. I thought it was really funny. So he's one of those.
So
He's very quirky. I think it'll work as a film.
the only actor that could play him would be Ryan Reynolds.
Oh no.
Oh, he's taken. But I would say Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, great minds.
Wouldn't
Yeah.
Jim Carrey be too old for this?
He's Plastic Man. He could be CGI to look younger.
Yeah.
Oh,
And if they
Would
get
Warner Brothers want to spend so much money? Oh wait, yeah.
Yeah.
on CGI, yeah,
if
for
they
a
get
mustache.
if they get some of that Marvel tech, and bring some of them over, they could de-age Jim Carrey to his pre Ace Ventura days.
Yeah.
Let's hope
isn't
Jim Carrey got rid of the beard already.
He doesn't have the beard in his new series.
Oh, okay. Aw.
What series is this?
I like
It's the Netflix one.
Yeah, what's it called?
on Netflix. There it is.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's like a bunch of comedians and stand-up comedians, right? Is that...
No. It's
No?
like a. I have not seen it,
Oh, okay.
but it is.
For all the shit
what is
I
it
throw
called?
at Netflix, if they ever
I have
pick
no
up
idea.
Brouhaha, I'll be.
We'll figure it out.
It's like a one word.
More news from the DCEU. Sorry, what?
Nothing, no. Because you guys were talking about stand-up comedians and Nas said Brouhaha. And I was like, for all the shade I throw to Netflix, if they ever pick up Brouhaha, I'll do whatever they want. They're like, we're going to never play Daredevil ever again. Fine by me. Go Nuts never liked it.
All right. More news from the DCEU. We've been talking about the Batman movie, the standalone movie, that has changed hands now from Ben Affleck to Planet of the Apes director
Matt Reeves.
Matt Reeves.
Matt
and,
Reeves.
And Warner Brothers has apparently thrown out the script, and they're getting a new script, or they have a script, and it's now a case of, will Ben Affleck stay as Batman? Will he not? We don't know. The Batman movie apparently is reportedly getting a rewrite by the end of this year.
Which is
What?
now, right?
I mean, we've got 2 weeks left.
End of this rewrite. It doesn't take a day to rewrite.
Why?
Right?
Oh no, it takes a long time.
It takes
to
a long
Yeah,
line,
so it's
a
this
long time to
month
rewrite.
now.
But apparently it's due. So I guess the studio, which is Warner Brothers, told Matt Reeves, look, like make some changes and submit it back in.
They're like, Andrew didn't like this. Can you listen to Andrew? It's like, why doesn't like Batman have like a solar suit? Like,
Next week, the headline will be Matt Reeves is out of Batman.
Oh.
being directed by 11-year-old superfan Andrew.
Andrew.
I don't know who Andrew is. I hate him already.
I think I could direct like a Batman film because my dad took me to the zoo one time and I saw this bat and it was like furry. So I think Batman should have like fur.
Andrew, for the record, I hope we never cross paths.
All right, let's switch up and talk about Spawn. Todd McFarlane, the creative Spawn, reveals that there are some new details about this movie reboot, and it's not really a reboot. It's more like time has passed since the first film.
I really don't like Hollywood
So, like,
right now.
sequel?
I
None
don't
of these
know.
directors are saying anything
If
concrete.
it's not a reboot, then it's a sequel.
It's a sequel.
Okay, because Todd McFarlane was on Reddit AMA and asked me anything. While the purpose of the AMA was to answer questions relating to Venom's history, he also provided some details and tidbits of information regarding the reboot of Spawn. He confirms that despite being a reboot, the new Spawn film will not be an origin story, saying it eats away time to do cool stuff. So that's all he said.
That's such a Todd McFarlane thing to say. This guy's still in the 90s. He still thinks he's 25.
See, the thing is, he's bankrolling the movie, so he can say whatever he wants.
I don't think he is.
Is he not?
No, it's
No,
Jason
no.
Bloom.
Yeah,
Oh,
Blumhouse.
yeah.
He's
it's
just the guy who
Blumhouse.
owns the rights. Yeah.
So, in conclusion, whatever Todd McFarlane says,
Does
we
not
just
matter.
ignore first.
So I think we ignore every director going forward.
Even James Wan?
No,
No,
James.
James is cool.
James, I'm really sorry.
Fine, let's talk about another director. And the director up next is Colin Trevorrow.
Oh,
Who
poor
is-
guy.
Who is set to direct the next Jurassic World movie, Jurassic
Yeah.
World 3. He is assuring fans that in the next movie, dinosaurs will not be terrorizing cities. Even though it was hinted at the end of the last film.
Oh, so they got...
So I think it's like a coexist. We coexist with the dinosaurs.
Either that or it's like an all-out war, but it's not going to be dinosaurs terrorizing a city.
Right. So Dino Army. Okay.
Planet of the Dinos.
Planet of the Dinos.
Oh, man. Only in America.
Only in America. Yeah.
Right. The reason being, he just has no idea what would motivate dinosaurs to terrorize a city. They can't organize.
That's true. They'll just rehabilitate. Is that the word?
It'll just be like dinosaurs,
Living
like
in
what you said,
nature.
like coexisting, I guess, or maybe encroaching into populous areas for food and
Maybe,
whatnot.
yeah. Maybe there'll be like clusters of dino population in certain areas that people don't go to anymore.
Yeah.
Because they're
You
all
mean
feral.
like a zoo?
More like a park, I would say.
Like a safari park.
yeah.
Like a Jurassic Park.
What?
And it has to be in Maine because that's where all the creepy stuff happens, right?
Yeah. I no, not a bad idea. What's this movie called? Does it have a 25-year history?
I have no idea, but what I would like to see is that in the next movie, Jurassic World 3, it may have been some time that has passed since the last film, and then dinosaurs are now out in the wild, and we see like a Planet Earth episode of Watch as the Raptor and his mate.
What I do not want to see in... Wow, what was that?
It's the raptor, right?
I don't know. If that was a raptor.
What I don't want to see is Jeff Goldblum anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Because Jeff, if you're listening, if you can't be in the film, don't be in the film.
Yeah.
Don't voice over the trailer and voice over the film.
Well, I don't think it was his decision.
Nah, it's not.
He
Okay,
went in.
Jeff,
They just
Jeff,
threw him
I hope you're
millions.
listening.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Jeff.
It's my birthday.
All right, speaking of sequels, we reviewed Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse last week, and the producer for that film says that the spin-off is happening.
Oh.
And that spin-off is going to center around Spider-Gwen.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Yeah, go for it, I guess, because it's like a whole another dimension now,
Yeah.
and they can
you
tell
can
that
do whatever
story.
you want.
Right?
And Spider-Gwen's
Yes,
pretty cool. She's the
yeah.
coolest in the movie.
Spider-Gwen.
Yeah.
Is she?
I mean, I see your point, Nas, but personally, I thought Spider-Ham was a revolution.
Yes, I agree with Kai.
I would like to see Spider Noir.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Spider Noir is another one.
Spider-Man Noir.
always
not yet.
follows.
Yeah, to go into a black and white Spider-Verse.
That's
yeah,
interesting.
That would be
And
cool.
then he plays with the cube.
The Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
Which is his gift.
Yeah.
Like he brings it back. All right, so that's the news this week on the Wayang Crew podcast. If you want to get in touch with us here on the show, you can do so via our contact links in the description down below. And up next is our review of Aquaman, which was Dell's one, I think, one of his highly anticipated movies.
Really?
You were so excited for this. You were like, it looks good.
Wait a minute.
I'm gonna watch it.
Not my...
It was not on your list.
Oh.
But you were hyping.
I was... Yeah. I mean, I saw that clip where...
Monterey.
The Sicily one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that action sequence looked really cool.
Wait, did I just say Monterey? I mean Black Manta.
Yeah.
Black Manta.
Monterey.
I thought you meant the rays in the ocean. But I saw that clip and I thought James Wan may be onto something here. And actually, that whole clip was the whole clip. There's nothing else.
Which what clip are you
The
talking
fighting.
The fight scene
the
where
Sicily fight
he
scenes.
uses his beam to shoot the...
No, the rooftop
Oh,
scene,
yeah,
the
right.
running and
Yeah,
all
right,
the
yeah.
the
That was a
camera
pretty cool
panning from one character to the other. That was the whole thing. I mean, there's nothing else. So that left me a little disappointed.
Well, apparently a lot of people are not disappointed about this with this movie because Aquaman, although having not been released in the US and like 28 other countries, has already grossed in $200 million internationally.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not bad.
It's doing really, really well in China. Taking in
Thanks, China.
almost $100 million.
Yep, sounds about right.
So
Population there.
yeah.
I guess after Venom, they were...
Hyped up for
They
any
needed more.
superhero
They needed more
movies.
bearded leading men.
No, I got it. The Chinese love seafood.
Oh.
So they do.
So now they don't want to eat seafood after watching this.
Seafood.
There was that scene where he ate a lobster.
That makes sense. Yep. All right.
Yes.
That's definitely it. That's definitely it. Yep.
All right, let's have a brief sort of like recap of Aquaman. I'll give it. Aquaman, as we saw in Justice League, his origin is explained. He's half human and half Atlantean. Now he's grown up and he has some serious abandonment issues
Serious abandonment.
with his mother. Like,
Yeah.
because he's all like, oh, she left and I don't know if she's still
When is she
alive.
coming
and this and that.
back?
Does she coming back?
love me? Yeah. Does she not love me?
He has been getting training from
Volko.
Volko, who is played by William Dafoe. And now he is the Aquaman that we know from Justice League. And a new threat comes up in this movie, and it's his half-brother who his mother left him and his father to have with her real husband.
It's complicated.
It's
but
complicated,
That's
yeah.
America for you.
Wow. Played by Patrick Wilson. So his half-brother is Patrick Wilson.
Who is awesome.
Okay. We'll talk about that later on. Patrick Wilson has a real chip on his shoulder. He wants to make surface dwellers, which is us humans, pay and suffer.
Would you say he's got a scale on his shoulder?
Wow. A big one.
Yeah.
And it's up to Aquaman, I guess, to
Save the
challenge him
world.
and save the world and defend humans in general.
Yeah, just to add on what Kev has expertly explained, in this movie, he's not Aquaman. He is Arthur Curry and he's occasional fish guy who worked with the Justice League. He's kind of finding himself as Aquaman. So the movie is more about him accepting that part of his life. Because on a regular day, he's a surfer bro.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah.
He is a surfer.
where you at? Yeah.
What?
Abandonment issues.
Yeah.
Just thought I'd work it in.
Okay. His father is played by the same actor who's Django Fett.
Django Fett, Tamara Morrison, performance of a lifetime.
Oh, all right. Okay. Let's do a round table thing here. Let's start with Kai and what you thought of Aquaman. Let's just do full spoilers for this review.
Okay, so spoiler alert. Here's the thing. I am a huge DC Comics nerd. Like, I read a lot of their books. So it's very hard for me to separate what I know and what this movie is gonna tell me. Like, it's very hard for me not to go like, oh, okay, this is the arc that they're adapting. Again, James, if you're listening, you're such a great guy. You're so talented. But what happened, man? Like, I wasn't on board 100% with Jason Momoa as Aquaman from the beginning because, in the comic book, he's kind of introverted. The character is very introverted. He doesn't really talk much. He doesn't like the surface. He doesn't belong here. So he lives in isolation on a lighthouse at Amnesty Bay. But the problem is Jason Momoa's personality just kind of spills all over.
He's just too cool.
He's too much of a surfer bro to not surf. You know what I
I
mean?
actually see him, like, if I close my eyes and you say Jason Momoa, I see him on like a bike. Like,
Yeah, you know, eventually the character had to be written too according to how he is, right? Like you can't give him the role that the comics has, the
That's
character
true.
from the comics. So it was very hard for me to kind of accept him as Arthur Curry. But I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to pretend this is like an alternate version of it. Even then, I felt the problem with this movie at its core was how it was conceived. Because the moment you had Jango Fett, Tamara Morrison standing on that wharf and suddenly Nicole Kidman is washed up on shore and he's just like, oh, you're so beautiful. Let's get married and have a kid. Like, I'm just like, wow, we're just not even going to question this. Like, and the dialogues in that first 5 minutes were so hokey and cheesy. I just couldn't take it. And then suddenly the dynamic shifted to like this outcast not wanting to accept his fate. And then suddenly the plot is about a revolution against the surface. And then suddenly Aquaman's in the water and we don't even know what's happening in the surface anymore. Like, you know, it's a
messy.
mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going with what you just said about we don't know what's happening on the surface, we saw that scene where there was like a warning.
And that's it.
And the waves, and we were not invested as, you know, humans. We like, okay,
Yeah.
there were waves and some people died and they washed up all the rubbish that was in the sea and that was it.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, and then
The stakes weren't there.
no, and
Yeah.
it felt like as the movie progressed, I'm like, it's slowly becoming a different film. Like it started off with the promise of this about to be a kid with serious mommy issues, and then it just became about a guy trying to fall in love with essentially the Warner Brothers version of the Little Mermaid.
The only thing missing was that song.
Complete with red hair.
Yeah. What's the song? I don't know. Under the Sea, right?
No, the other one.
Oh,
Which one?
The one that Ariel sings.
Look at this stuff.
Yeah.
Isn't this neat? Wouldn't you think my collection
Part of that world.
Look at this rose. I think I'll eat it.
You want thingamabobs? I've got 20.
I was raised not to judge, but I'm judging so hard right now. Yeah, so it just, and then, okay, so you have this really cheesy scene in Sicily. I thought it was so cringy. I wish I was, well, I don't want to say it on the air, but I really wish I didn't see that scene. It's just so bad. And then suddenly Black Manta attacks and now it's an action movie again.
Yeah.
You know, and as he's attacking, the action doesn't make sense. Like, she's just consistent. She's never been on the surface. How is she in under the sun and not dying? You know what I mean? Like she's just running across rooftops. Does she even know what a rooftop is?
Maybe like the longer she stays in the sun, like she becomes a salted fish. And
Yeah.
I think it's because she ate petals that gave her
a rose petal.
strength.
Okay, and then, you know, she's running and she's just really, really running across rooftops. And then it's so messy. The two action scenes happening. Manta versus Aquaman, and you had Mera versus the soldiers.
Yeah.
And when Manta was fighting Aquaman, it's not choreographed properly. Like, he's throwing things and something falls on a guy. Arthur lifts it and the guy walks.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
when Anakin did it, we accepted that.
because
When Obi-Wan did it.
Yeah, because he always had the high ground. I got it.
But this one is a human being.
Yeah, and
he was
so
like,
bad.
and you know, it's just like the entire sequence. I was saying, like, it's as if, James, again, I love you. It's as if somebody sat down and was like, okay, these are the 5 movies we want in this movie.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, it's just, I really didn't like it. Like, it's like a discount Incredible Hulk rooftop chase.
And then like Aquaman,
Yeah.
like, he lifts up the pillar and like the camera
Andrew,
goes-
I swear to
he's like,
God,
okay.
one more time. So it's like somebody watched Incredible Hulk and was like, hey, this rooftop scene in Brazil, put that in this movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then here's the sad part. There were like 5 amazing shots in this movie that I really liked. The first one was when King Atlan, they did that flashback to the past before Atlantis sunk.
Yeah.
And you had King Atlan with his trident commanding this huge whale.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he was shot from the back, and I thought that looked amazing. And then when King Atlan retired to his throne, he died holding the trident.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really well shot underwater. And it's just, it had all these great shots, you know, and then suddenly from Italy, they go on the boat and they meet the creatures of the trench, which is a great arc in the books. And now it feels like discount Piranha the film. You know, you had all these monsters.
I mean, again, there was a cool shot.
Yeah, there was a cool shot of them jumping off the boat
And then
going
going
underwater.
down.
Amazingly shot, right? And then they just bypass these characters through super speed swimming?
Yeah.
Unlike.
Aren't these like dead Atlanteans who have evolved beyond anything human? Aren't they supposed to just know how this works and just poop?
I don't think they evolved. I think they
devolved. Sorry.
They regressed.
Yeah. And then and then suddenly they're in a mystical part of the Earth's core where they're on land again.
No, that's the journey to the center of the earth,
Yep.
like sort of story.
And Aquaman is so cool that when he saw dinosaurs still existed there,
He didn't
made
react.
no reference to it.
He's like, hey man, look, it's a dinosaur.
Has this Jurassic Park or something?
Yeah, and then boom, we have a Janet Van Dyne moment from Ant-Man and the Wasp. Queen Atlanta
Yeah.
is alive.
She's wearing
The suit,
yeah.
like evolved
Yeah.
suit.
no,
Like,
but it's probably like scales and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
She hollowed out.
makeshift.
She had to kill one of those things to make that suit.
yeah, and the helmet.
Yeah,
And
so
then her hair is like Janet Van Dyne's hair.
yeah, I'm like, okay, so Queen Atlanta's alive, right? And then it's not even emotional when they embrace, like, because we never got to experience the side of Arthur that really wanted his mother.
Yep.
Because we were so busy looking at Patrick Wilson with his really weird haircut, hanging out underwater with
Excuse me?
what was that tip at the end of his head?
It's a bun. It's a man bun.
Man
Come
bun.
on, Del, they're
It's like a
Atlanteans.
fin. It's like a little fin.
Like that's funny.
It's like a rudder.
Yeah, that's funny. So like, because we were so engrossed in like Ivan Drago with red hair, former Green Goblin, and Night Owl talking about politics, because we didn't get to see anything about Arthur's yearning for his mother. Suddenly, I'm supposed to care about his mom, and
We got one short scene, that training scene, and at the
And
end,
that's
and
it.
he's like, oh, what, like,
that's it.
Where's my
all,
mom?
all they could have done was spend another $5 million, show Arthur wait at the side of the lighthouse for a few days, waiting for his mom to eventually show up as a kid. Like something like that. Come on.
Yeah.
And then he goes underneath, beyond the waterfall. Don't go chasing waterfall.
we are singing a lot on this episode of the podcast.
So he goes under the. I'm just going beat by beat on this film. He goes behind the waterfall again. A great shot
Yeah.
of King Atlan on the throne
Yeah.
with the trident. I thought that was a beautiful shot.
And don't forget, we got Julie Andrews in that scene.
That is true.
Yep.
Yeah. And then the Kraken sort of comes up.
Karathan.
Karathan.
Yeah. Sorry, the Karathan.
Release the Karathan.
Yeah, so the Karathan comes up and he's like, oh, like, you are not worthy. And then he's like, I just want to surf. And,
And then Karathan said, thousands of people have tried and I killed them all. How is this place a secret again?
yeah.
And then we see like a pile of bones.
No,
right?
yeah. If thousands of people have tried, how did Patrick Wilson Manbun not know about this place?
That's true.
Who's supposedly the coolest
That is
Atlantean
true.
ever?
Oh, he's so cool.
No, he's not. And then, so finally, I like that bit where he kind of talks to the Karathan and goes, I can hear you. I can hear you since I was a kid. I'm like, this is the human side of this character we needed this entire film.
Yeah.
And that representation of him being able to communicate with like undersea creatures, I think they did that quite well.
Yeah, I was like,
I had goosebumps when that
where
happened.
is this? Where was this? And then he finally took the trident, right? And he comes out in the classic orange suit. James, well done. On making a cheesy suit look functional on screen, because that was a joke in the comics, that suit.
Until
Until it became Pacific Rim 2, underwater.
oh
Kaiju came out.
Yeah.
yeah.
And again, and I'm like, okay, first of all, are none of these Atlanteans seeing the bright golden spark of this new trident in the water? Like, I'm sure the VFX artist bumped up contrast by 1,000,000. And they're all like, kill him. I'm like, yo, don't you even want to know where the trident came from? Like,
Yeah.
do you not know your
No, that's
history?
the legendary trident.
Yeah, do you
that
not
we-
know what it looks like?
That's true.
They probably don't because it's legendary.
And Patrick Wilson, his character. So Orm is one of my favorite villains in the comic books. I love Orm.
Yeah.
The thing is, Patrick Wilson's character has written to be like, yeah, Atlantean tradition, bro. Like, it's the coolest thing ever. And he sees the trident. He's like, no, you don't deserve it. It's like, he literally plucked it from the dead fingers of King Atlan, Orm. Can you not? And this movie ends with everybody cheering him on, like he completed the surf competition. I don't know, man. This movie.
It ended-
No,
it-
and he looks at Orm and goes like, "When you're ready, we'll talk."
Yeah, what was that?
and
then Queen Atlan got a wardrobe change.
that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, she was like, "Oh, by the way, can I get like Versace? Like, I'm sorry."
While everyone is fighting for their lives.
Yeah, she's like, "Versace, are you there?" And then she comes like, "This is not why I raised you two kids." And Orm was like, "Mommy." Like, Orm just went, "Mommy, okay." Like,
So from what you described, it's kind of like two brothers who both have mommy issues.
I think it's a movie with mommy issues.
All
Yeah,
right.
I think aren't all DC movies
Mommy
Mommy
issues.
Martha. Yeah.
Del, like very quickly, what did you think? Like,
there are a lot of good. There are a lot of good. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed a lot of things. Like first of all, King Orm played by Patrick Wilson. I thought his performance was so good that it lifted the movie, and it needed to be.
Because everybody else was so terrible.
Yahya Abdul Mateen II playing
he was
Black
okay.
Black
Manta.
Manta.
It was okay.
He was okay. The backstory, the origin story of Black Manta, really well done. So well done that it surpassed Aquaman's.
You are
origin
kidding,
story.
right? The one where his dad gave a monologue in the middle of the heist.
Well, okay, not those beats, but the way that they told that part of the story
Yeah.
was better than the way they told Aquaman's origin
like
story.
you could see the relationship between him
The
and his
father and the
father,
son.
and
Yeah,
how much
that-
it meant to him that Aquaman left his father to die. So, like, that is an emotional anchor.
Here's again. Sorry to intervene, Del. The reason why I like it in the comics, the way Black Manta became Black Manta, was because he was just a pirate, and his father had the moniker of Black Manta, which is something every man in the family had. Black Manta attacked Amnesty Bay and injured Arthur's father, and Arthur went on a blind rage, came on board, and killed the wrong person.
yeah,
He killed the father.
The father.
right.
And since then, Black Manta has been hunting him down. It's like, you killed my dad. But in this one, it's more like, you are all pirates, you deserve to die. And he just goes off. So I was like,
You brought this on yourself.
yeah, like
Yeah.
I was, so I see where Del's coming from. Again, like if
But I'm comparing this one to this in the movie compared
Yeah.
to Aquaman's origin
Aquaman's
story.
Yeah.
origin.
So that one had a good beat to it.
Better.
Action sequences directed by James Wan was really good as well. He has an eye for action, not just like car chase and all that. So Fast and Furious 7 wasn't a fluke, the action sequences, because one can direct action. Would it benefit more if they had a better choreography? Sure. But then the camera movement, especially on the rooftops of
The
Sicily.
fight scenes, yeah.
Yeah, that was really well done. As well as the final showdown between Aquaman and Orm.
Yeah.
I thought even though that was a bit too short, the way that it was shot was really well as well. And then we had Dolph Lundgren. He can act. I never knew he could act.
Yeah.
So when I saw him here, I thought,
Yeah,
hey,
as
he's acting well
King
enough to
Nereus.
be.
Yeah.
Nereus.
Yeah.
Mira's
I
father.
was
Yeah,
impressed.
Mira's father.
I was impressed. I thought James Wan did well in directing everyone, especially he made Aquaman likable. Because in Justice League, Aquaman was not likable. So
He was the random surfer dude surfing down from the sky.
Yeah, and here's one thing as well I forgot to point out. He didn't know Mira's name?
yeah, which is weird.
That's because they met.
I
in Justice
mean,
League.
Lex Luthor already gave him his logo on the computer. So I don't know lah. That this whole timeline is a bit weird.
Yeah, I thought that was weird.
Okay, Naz, what are your thoughts on Aquaman?
I liked the movie generally, but I also didn't like a lot of scenes. It wanted to be a lot of movies. There was like Tony Stark scenes, Black Panther scenes, especially like when they showed Atlanta. That was really cool. Like it was really beautiful, but they didn't make
Atlantis.
Atlantis, sorry.
Atlanta.
Not Atlanta.
That's in Georgia.
Anyway, like the scenes are beautiful. Like when it kind of panned into the city,
Yeah.
it was like the Black Panther scene, but they didn't make us feel Atlantis. You
Yeah.
know, like
So it was I guess it's Black Panther meets Avatar.
Avatar.
Kinda, a little
Yeah,
bit.
because like the tradition, like the brothers fighting, was like Michael B. Jordan and T'Challa's scene.
But I have to ask though, like they were so hyped for this challenge.
Yeah.
When
the Ring of Fire.
when Arthur Curry comes back and then he's sort of pushed into the situation where he accepts. Like,
Yeah.
okay, fine, I'll challenge you. It's like the people are like, yeah, this is something we have like every year,
Yeah.
right?
Like, it's
Yeah.
a huge
But then,
preparation.
I mean, sorry to jump in. There was this scene where at the end when Arthur went to fight Orm and Mira came and rescued Volko, and she said, "Come, they need us because everyone else is fighting, right?"
Yeah.
And then Volko just said, I want to watch them fight. I have the best seat in the house." It's like, so weird, that scene.
Bring me my undersea popcorn.
Yeah. So a lot of scenes, a lot of lines didn't make sense, lah. Like
Cheesy,
they
but
yeah.
it was really cheesy.
Like
at
it
some
was
points.
like more than one person chipped in ideas, and then they didn't like proofread or edit
Andrew.
properly.
Andrew.
I really
like at the end, like Aquaman comes out like a big kaiju.
You guys see Pacific Rim 2 yet? That was good.
yeah. I want Black Manta to be like Tony Stark.
So they brought Karathan into the surface, well, more surface than before.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they've got to explain how Aquaman will not be using Karathan in the future for any
Yeah,
other battle, right? Because this is like the epic Godzilla.
Because
Yeah,
Karathan
like
is so
trench
old, like
being.
she has like osteoporosis, and it's like, oh, that's it, I'm out, my back's
Yeah.
gone, like I can't do this anymore.
I also thought that ending where he says, "I am Aquaman," that was like, bro, we've not done that in 15 years.
Yeah.
Like in 2002 when Tobey Maguire did it, it was fine. When Thomas Jane did it in The Punisher, it was fine. But it's 2018 and he goes, "I'm Aquaman." I'm
Yeah.
like, what?
Not just that, like when he put on the orange suit, walked out of the waterfall and posed for the two ladies to see him pose.
Yeah.
That is weird, man. You don't do this anymore.
Wait,
there's no
fir-
context for
First
this.
of all, one of those people is your mother.
Yeah. Exactly. It's ridiculous.
Like,
Come on, James Wan. Come on, you are better than this.
Okay, all right. My thoughts on this movie is that I'm not a very invested fan of the DC comics. I don't know much about Aquaman, only from what we've seen on screen, which is mainly in Justice League and the references that we get. I walked into this movie with really, really, really low expectations. Actually, no expectations at all. And I was, pleasantly surprised. I thought it was an okay origin story. It was an okay movie in general. There are some very, very nice action pieces in this movie. So if you are an action movie fan, this movie would definitely suit you because James Wan has demonstrated that he can pull off an action movie. He did direct the last Fast and Furious movie. And one thing that I noticed in this movie is that the action sequences tend to not let up. Like you have one action sequence and then you have like a very short solemn moment where there's a conversation and then there's like the equivalent of a jump scare and then another action sequence and it just keeps rolling. And I think by like the fourth or fifth action sequence, you're just like, I'm kind of tired. Like, can we get like a story?
Yeah.
Can we get something emotional for a bit here?
I mean, well, he did, and in Sicily, and then on that weird Uncharted kind of,
yeah, like the
Indiana
whole bottle
Jones
thing.
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
the water put the sweat onto the thing, just like Fifth Element.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he had to say like, "I could have pissed on it."
Yeah.
I laughed that one. I laughed.
Okay.
Yeah,
laughed.
that's funny.
All right. Generally, I think it was a good movie. So maybe we'll do ratings for Aquaman. Let's start off with Del.
5.5 Kraken out of 10.
Okay. Kai.
I will give it a 4.
4 out of 10.
Yeah.
Right.
Interesting.
Naz?
I give it a 7 plastic bottles out of 10.
Nice. I'm gonna give this movie 7 sharks with laser beams on their heads out of 10 because that was one of the things that made me laugh out loud in the cinemas. Because all the
hated
while
it.
I saw that, I saw Dr. Evil. I want sharks with freaking laser beams on their heads, and we saw it in this movie
You'd be so proud.
after 10 years of waiting.
Oh yeah, there was this when Aquaman and Mera were on the sailboat, and then Aquaman woke up, and then there was a flute playing. I thought it was the background music.
Same.
It was Mera playing.
And then like, she was like, her legs were crossed and she was playing
Yeah.
so daintily. I was like,
Where did she
Mermaid.
learn?
Little Mermaid.
And wouldn't it be faster if they just swam?
Hang on a minute. She was playing a percussion instrument. She's not a surface dweller. She doesn't know that
Exactly.
air can make those sounds.
sounds.
Oh my god, this movie is just
Yep. That's why it got a 4.
it's just getting worse.
You guys want to
Anyway,
revise your scores?
No, I still
no,
gave it a
I'll
7.
stick by my 7
No,
sharks.
my
with
initial was like 7.9. Then I'm like, 7 now.
All right. So that's
Thank you for
was
your
very-
objectivity.
That was very close to an 8.
So that's the Aquaman review from the Wayang Crew. If you want to let us know what you thought of the movie, get in touch with us in the contact links down below. Let's do our final bit of the show, which is...
Oi, apa liat-liat? Apa liat-liat? Hoi, 看什么看？
Apa liat liat?
那看什么看？
apa liat-liat? See what see? 笑了。
That's right, it's Apa Liat Liat, and it's what else we have been watching despite having a very busy week preparing for our shows this weekend. Del, Apa Liat Liat.
Nothing much actually. I haven't seen Have I seen anything else? What came out last week in the cinema? I don't know. But I just rewatched Avengers Infinity War only because I saw the interview. They had this screening at ArcLight Cinema.
Yeah,
and
they
there was
did.
this
Q&A.
Q&A, yeah, with Collider. So that got me interested in the movie again.
So you went back and watched it.
Yeah.
Did you pick up anything else?
No.
Not really. Okay.
No.
Kai, apa leda?
So I watched The House with a Clock at its walls.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a bad film.
It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty harmless.
That's I mean, it's like we mentioned this on our review. Jack Black has that's like the
That's the Jack Black genre now.
yeah. He's carved himself a
Yeah.
very nice niche in Hollywood. He's that guy now.
Yeah,
The weird uncle.
It's not bad. I quite enjoyed it. I also watched Bumblebee.
Oh,
Yeah.
how was that?
Incredible.
Okay, we're gonna talk about that movie next week on the next episode of the podcast because I have not watched it. Del, have you watched it?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay, I'll probably try and catch it maybe today or tomorrow. Naz, apa liat?
I've been watching Christmas movies the past
Wow.
week.
Oh wow. Okay.
Okay.
So tis the season.
Nice.
Yeah. One of it is a Christmas Prince from Netflix. I don't know. It's just cheesy.
It just shows up right on
yeah,
your
yeah.
on
I
your
was like,
suggested.
let me watch this. She's from iZombie. Yeah.
Oh, Rose McIver.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so-
Was it any good?
Typical Christmas movie. Like, not good, not bad. Like, oh,
But mainly
Christmas.
feel good. Like,
yeah.
oh, okay, that was nice.
Christmas, Yeah.
All right. I have not watched anything this week because we've been busy running around and
Yeah.
getting stuff ready for the shows. If you didn't catch it, well, too bad. That was the last show for the year. But if you want to maybe find out,
If you didn't catch it, too bad.
if you want to find out when our next shows will be, do check Brukaha Comedy Brunei on social media. But yeah, that's going to be it. I think next week we're going to do a review of Bumblebee and then maybe take a break for a couple of weeks from the podcast.
What?
Oh, you don't want a break?
Oh, no. Just making sound effects.
Sound effects. All right. I'd like to thank my co-hosts Del, Kai, and Naz for joining me on today's review episode of Aquaman. We'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.